Hello and welcome to the Genja tutorials. Today I'm going to take a deeper dive into the LXML E-tree objects and their methods for parsing the XML trees. So I have a notepad open on the right hand side so we can gather some details rather than trying to remember it. So first of all, we're just going to navigate into our usual directory. I'm going to go all the way into PyEZ and I'm going to start the virtual environment. So what I am going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this. So copy. No, first of all, I need to make a directory called operations. Then I'm going to copy that into operations, and I'm going to call the new file LXML. Let's just make it bigger so you can see. Underscore get uptime .py. So if I do a list operations, we now have our new file. Before we open up the file and start editing, we need to use our tool to find out the equivalent of show system uptime. So let me just make that big again. Python 3 tools. If you haven't got a copy of the Connect SSH key and the RPC tool that I'm about to use, you can get that from the GitHub repository. I'll put a link in the video right now. So we want show system uptime. Oh my god. Okay. So this should give me the equivalent after I put in my password. Okay, so the equivalent of show system uptime is get system uptime information. So rather than trying to remember that, I'm just gonna paste it in there. So I now have a copy. So I'm just gonna start on my text editor. I've been upgrading it, so I'm gonna open the file different ways. So we need to go into the operations folder and then open up LXML. Technically that's what I'm doing right now. So now I can go and click. So it's giving me a bit of a GUI interface within Vim. So we're going to import the LXML E-tree module. Import E-tree. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable on the top line now, or 13th. Now I have line numbers called sysuptime using the dev object.rpc call dot. I think it's still within my, yep, still there. And we'll just do that. And what we're going to do is we want to dump it so we can see I'm just going to copy that there. But didn't do it all. So I have no errors. I've got error checking on. So we can see what the XML tree looks like. You don't have to use print. If you use print, you'll get, with E-tree dump, you'll get a non at the end of your output. because it already prints for you. So I'm just gonna write this. That is written. And then I am going to run that. So it's operations. It's only one, so you can autocomplete. So let's find out what we get. So the root is system uptime information. We are looking for, we want the uptime information. So the next level of that is, I just had it, now I've lost it, uptime information. So if we, so I do uptime information, paste that in there. And under uptime information, we have uptime, that's just an attribute. And then there's the length of time. So we can just do uptime. And then we're gonna gather the text from it. As you can see, the output is on another line. So it's not clean here. The reason for that is some of the text has hidden white space around it. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm just gonna go in, because I'm gonna be in and out of the folder. I'm not gonna do what I just done a second ago. Operations, and I'm just gonna edit the folder, the file. So first of all, to understand what I'm on about, we already know our path that we want. So I'm going to edit this with another variable called uptime. And it's going to be sysuptime dot find text, and then it's going to be in between this. Okay. And then we can get rid of this E tree now. I'll just comment it out for now. We'll delete it later. On the new line, we're gonna print in a representational format. Let's just give it a new line so it's clear as well. New line. And we're going to print the uptime. So we should be good there. So run quit. So now if I run it again, we can see that there's hidden white space. That's why here, new line, prints, then at the end there's another new line, rather than it being like this. It's random, so there is a fix to it. So here, as you can see, it's all on one line. Got your tags, open and closing, and the text. So to fix that, we will use a function in our call. So here it's called Normalize. And you want that to equal true. By default, it's false unless you're using the operational tables and views. So now, if I do the same thing again, just right click that, run it again. Now it's removed that white space. Just noticed that I've got, let me go back. So I'm just going to concatenate this to make it a little cleaner. Whoops. Okay, that'll print out now. So now what I'm going to do is, now that we have the uptime and how to display it using Normalize, we can so that's one new feature, the Normalize. So you want to standardize that so that your text, when you're looking for text, it comes out all on one line and it represented. So if we were to use that on the dump, again, it would be the same output. It would be nice and clean. So let me show you. So I'll leave, right? Quit. Do that. So now we're good. Nice clean output, all on one line, rather than it making it difficult to read where it was being spread out. So next, I'm going to create another file called interfaces, LXML interfaces. So drop down a level. Then we're gonna copy. It's called SSH. Let me clear it so it's at top of the screen. So LSL. So you want to copy that into operations, and we're going to call this LXML get interfaces. .py. So again, just sanity. Now I have two files. So what we need to do again is use our tool to get, so we want to show interfaces. So you want to use the tool to get show interfaces. So this time it's going to be get interface information. So we'll just put that there. And then we open up our file. we're gonna import eTree again so that we can find out what this table is about. Import no, it's from XML import eTree. Then I'm gonna create, so this time I'm gonna call it interfaces, because we're going to be getting a list. So call it interfaces. It's equal to dev.rpc dot get interface information. And now we're just going to be using this as normal, as a standard process. So normalize is equal to true. And then eTree dot dump, dump interfaces. So we are good, right? And then -3 operations. Whoa. XML get interfaces. So it's going to put out a lot of data. So if we scroll to the top, what we're trying to get with this module is we want the operational state of an interface so we can gather its name. So this is your root. So it's going to be physical interface. So if you grab our notepad again, let's scroll back to the top. It's going to be physical interface. Then we want the operational state. But in this instance, what we're going to do is use a slightly different method. We're going to be saying we want this tag to be equal to up so that tag has to be equal to up, and then next we want to grab the name, so at the same level. And then that's it. So that, oh, I didn't close with square brackets. So the square brackets is saying this is the tag is equal to this value. So its tag equals this value. So now we go back into the text editor and edit that file. So operations interfaces. So I'm going to be saying so now what we're going to be doing, because we're doing find all, we're going to say our new variable is probably interfaces, let's call it this, interface list is equal to interfaces dot find all, and we grab this. If you notice, I used the single apostrophe there because the outer quotes it would cause conflict with. So now that's going to find all the interfaces, put them into a list that match an operational state of up, and return the name. So with a Python list, we need to iterate it. So we'll say for int in int in interface in interface list we want to do an if, so we just want to grab all our G interfaces. So if G in interface, so now we have an if statement, print interface dot text, because we haven't grabbed the text just yet, so we need to use that method. Just for more styling, just above here, oops, because it's going to be, I'm going to do print new line, oh sorry, it's going to be interface list, then I'm going to just do want to center based on 70, and that text is going to be filled with an asterisk around it. And then followed by new line. We can comment that out. We should be good, so let me just see. So here it's just complaining my text is too long for the PEP 8 standards, so I can just do that and come out, that error should go, and because I've commented out the E tree, it's complaining that basically I'm not using that module, so we're good. So let me just write this and quit, and then quit this. So now we are going to run the get interfaces again. It should give us a clean, nice output of all our operational interfaces. Oh, I've got nothing. It's weird. What did I do? This vim. Forgot to check. I want to check the text. So we did that. Text. Right, click that. Now we should be good. Yep, so as you can see down here, it's giving me one operational interface. So now I'm going to run it again. I'm just going to create like a loop. So ports 2 and 3 should be up. They're pretty much looped. So now should be able to give me that information without too much effort.
One eternity later.
Okay, so we're back. So I've plugged in the cable from my machine directly because that loop knocked me off. But then also in the process, I discovered that if I connect and disconnect, it switches between my Ethernet interface and the wireless, which I lose connectivity afterwards. So I'm just going to leave it in now. So we can see there's 2 ports connected, so we are good. Next is one final function method, is basically getting the retrieving and attribute. So we're going to edit the uptime again, go back to the uptime. And all we're going to do is we're going to copy this. But we need to use the find method because on this one here, because at the moment this is presenting as text. So if I and record as seconds. And we want to delete this text because we basically need the object. Then on that object, it has a method called attribute where we want to find seconds within that attribute dictionary. And then just a bit of styling. We are going to just do print f-string this, total in seconds is equal to, and just a variable seconds, and we'll close, and that should be it, and then we'll just print an empty line for styling. And that should be it. Oh, and then here we want to basically just, we don't want that anymore. So now, right, quit. Run it again. So now if we get the uptime, should be able to access the seconds attribute without any errors. So, oh, I'm not printing the, focus I took that off. And quit that. Alright, quit. So there we have it. We should have both total time in seconds, days and seconds. So there we are, done. So that's the end of that. So we are covered the more in depth in XPath expressions, as well as the in-depth XML methods and XPath expressions. So until next time, thank you.